Good morning. World leaders have condemned Russia for launching a missile attack on Europe's biggest nuclear power plant. The shelling started a fire at Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear site, which is now out, and its 6 reactors appear to be intact. No radioactive material has been released, but the plant is now under Russian control, and 3 people are believed to have been killed. John Ray has the latest.
The world needed no warning of the perils posed by the war in Ukraine to lands far beyond its borders. But in the Russian attack on Europe's biggest nuclear reactor, a terrible reminder of how much is at stake. If there's an explosion, that's it for Europe, said President Vladimir Zelensky.
But it is extremely concerning that forces are prepared to do this. We've called for an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council. This is a threat to European security and stability, and we need those responsible to be held to account.
The plant is now in Russian hands. The fire's extinguished, radiation levels normal. One catastrophe averted amid disaster after disaster. These smouldering ruins are the remains of the town of Borodyanka, northwest of the capital, after airstrikes and artillery shells pounded a residential area. The Russians are bombarding Ukraine into submission. And it is the same grim story in the port city of Mariupol.
They use bombs, they use rockets, multiple launch rocket systems, everything he has. Its target is both hospitals, schools, kindergartens.
In Brussels, NATO's foreign ministers are holding another emergency meeting.
We condemn the attacks on civilians, and over the night we have also seen reports about the attack against the nuclear power plant. This just demonstrates the recklessness of this war and the importance of ending it, and the importance of Russia withdrawing all its troops.
But as the aftermath of the attack on the nuclear plant proves, it might be that Vladimir Putin is intent on victory at any cost. John Ray, ITV News.
Straight to Ukraine now then, and Richard Gaisford is in the west of the country. I mean, Richard, you're in the west. I know this nuclear plant is in the south some way away, but it's likely to raise fears among people that nothing is off limits for President Putin.
Yeah, I'd say definitely tensions are rising, and not just because of the situation, Chris, at the Zaporizhzhia power plant. You've got a lot more armed patrols on the street here now than we've seen before. A number of air raid warnings right across western Ukraine this morning. Every time a Russian plane is in the sky, you hear the sirens over the speakers that President Zelensky is currently talking over. He speaks to the nation on the hour, every hour, in cities like this, rallying the troops. And certainly what we have here is this amazing volunteer effort. We've seen petrol bomb arsenals being created yesterday. 1,000 pairs or more of boots being taken off a van, part of a supply chain to be distributed amongst soldiers. And here we have in this city signs now at the side of every road from the local council telling local Russian soldiers that if they come into the city they're not welcome, that there are bullets waiting for them here and not flowers.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. And back here, Boris Johnson had an early morning phone call with the Ukrainian president. That was just the start of what is a major day of diplomacy. Political correspondent David Wood is in Westminster. David, what more can you tell us?
Chris, the government is hailing this as one of the biggest days of diplomacy, with the aim to tighten the vice around Putin's war machine. In that early morning conversation between the Prime Minister and the Ukrainian President, Boris Johnson promised that the UK would do all it could to ensure the situation there doesn't deteriorate further. And much of today's diplomatic effort is through the Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss. She is in Brussels. There's a meeting of NATO foreign ministers, of G7 foreign ministers, and of the EU Foreign Affairs Council. And what's interesting, I think, about that meeting is that Liz Truss has been invited. The first time since Brexit, a UK minister will go to such meeting. A real show of unity then. Lots of tough talk on sanctions, but the reality is, so far, they're not stopping Putin.
OK, David in Westminster, thank you very much indeed. Your next update from us here on ITV is at midday. The latest, however, is on our website at itv.com/news. We will see you in an hour.